Hi friends, it's Sarah from Ruffles and Rainbows, and we're going to show you with zero design skills how to make these stir sticks. If you're new to my channel, and I have to disclose I talk a little fast, you can go to your settings here on YouTube. Anything above this normal check mark is going to be slower, and anything above it will be faster. So you just go to playback speed and you can adjust from there. So let's design for our machine. And what I mean by this is if you're going to cut on the P2, design on the P2 canvas. If you only have one machine, this won't be an issue. If you have more, switch to it so that your canvas is correct. Also, indicate what processing mode. I'll be using a honeycomb, so I'll indicate that. Now, here's the best part. The AiMake is built into your XCS software right over here in the corner. So when you click that, a massive bit of inspiration is going to come up. I've already shared some of that here on the channel. Today we're going to be designing a vector. So line icon or 2D graphic, those are really good just to start with a basic design. You can see the style is already input because I clicked on 2D project or 2D graphic, then I'm going to put in a basic prompt. Please note each of these images costs 6 credits and you can do 2 or 4 at a time. I think you can do 1 too, I don't remember. But I'm going to generate a Santa head only. Now, if you like something, I urge you to download it to your device or your cloud storage, as well as import it to XCS. Because you've paid for these, you can use them anywhere you'd like. So you can hit this import to XCS, but I'm going to go to this other one because I'm going to use this one. So I'm going to do the same exact thing. I'm going to download, and then I'm going to import to XCS. So once that's in there, you don't have to resize it now. You can go back into AiMake and you can do another prompt. So I'm going to do one and I'm going to show you what happens when you do not like a design. As you know, I'm going to collect 2 images. That'll be 12 credits. I don't like either of these designs. So I'm going to click on this dislike button and get 4 out of my 6 credits back. So it does have a small cost because the power of AI costs a lot of energy. So I'm going to dislike both of these and I'm going to get those 8 out of 12 credits back. I'm going to change my prompt to be a little bit more specific and hopefully get what I want this time. And I do. Spoiler alert. But again, if I don't like one of the designs, I can just click on it, click the dislike, and get those 4 credits back. I thought that was a pretty, interesting bit to share. This one I do like. I'm going to download and insert it into XCS. So you can see we have 2 designs here with no design skills. You just made 2 items. Good job for you. Now, I want these to coordinate. So I'm going to click on the tree, go up to the edit menu, zoom in by hitting Command or Control plus, and I'm going to click on one of these inner dots, any of them, and then just start hitting delete, and that will leave me this entire piece alone. So we hit done. Now you can see it's filled in. That coordinates better with our little Santa. You can also add a rectangle over the bottom here if you would like. I'm going to leave it as it is. So now we're going to size both of these, hold down shift and do the transform controls, or you can size using the dimensions up at the top. Because XCS doesn't auto-save, you are going to want to get in the habit of saving your file. So just name it, save it wherever you'd like, and every few minutes just go ahead and hit save. Because we're making stir sticks, we need the rectangle and the little circle at the bottom of our design. So how do we get those? Over on the left-hand side, you can either hit the letter R on your keyboard or the rectangle, and then you can hit the C on your keyboard or select circle. You can also adjust these individually up here in the sizing, or you can unlock them and just adjust one thing. So I want the width to always be 20 or 1/4 of an inch, so 0.25. I can horizontally align them. I'm going to come down here, zoom in, and I'm going to drop that circle just so it's overlapping the rectangle. Now, that's a little small because the drink stirrer needs to do its job. I'm going to change this to 0.4. And again, you can highlight them both, come up here, hit horizontal, or you can just move the rectangle to where you see this line come up. That's called auto snapping. In your software settings, you can turn it on right here. It's also Command R if you like shortcuts and hotkeys. All right, so now we have that. We need to actually say we want our engraving, but we also want to cut, right? So I'm going to go ahead and transform this down, but this is about 7.5. I need this to be about 7 because we want a highball stir stick, which is about 9 inches, and it's going to be everything. So it's going to be the rectangle, the circle, and our engrave and or cut Santa head. Okay, so I'm just going to drop this down, and again, you can use the transform controls or just type in 1.5 up here. And you want to keep the aspect ratio locked. We want to do the same thing here. So 1.5, biggie T bam, they're the same size, they'll coordinate. Now, I'm going to create a cut line for our engraving, and that's by going to outline. Now you can change the number here, use the arrows, whatever you'd like, but I like the 0.079. Just remember what you've done. Hit confirm to lock that cut line in, and now you see that outline. We're going to do it again. Highlight the tree, turn off the inner outline for the bitmap, 0.079, and now we have 2 pieces. We have the engraving and we have a cut. All right, so I'm just going to copy and paste on the rectangle and circle. This right here, I'm going to tell you how to fix that. That's a failure point, so we're going to get to that in just a second. So now I'm going to show you the layers panel. So right now you have 4 pieces for each stir stick. You have the engraving, you have the outline to the engraving, you have the rectangle, and you have the little circle. And you can tell the 2 engravings are going to say compound vector. The vector is your circles. Like, it's going to show what you have right there, but you can always double click those names and change them. Santa head, Christmas tree, etc. All right, so as I've done here, you can see, like, I'm just pushing the Santa pieces up and the bottom pieces will be the tree. You don't have to do that. I just think it's easy to keep things organized in the layers panel. You can see that I changed the Santa to blue and an engrave, and that is what I'm going to do for the tree as well. And then everything else is going to be cut, but we're not quite ready to merge everything together. So this right here, I told you they don't line up. That is a failure point. And when you're using it as a stir stick, you want that piece to be solid. So we're going to adjust only the rectangle. But in order to do that, we're going to have to unlock the aspect ratio because we don't want to mess with the width, only the height. Once we have that, we can just drag the transform controls straight up and we encompass this little rounded part so it's now going to be a solid piece. Now, we want our stir sticks to all be the same size. So I'm just going to move this over here and then we'll build our Santa to fit our, Christmas tree. So I'm going to align these 2 at the bottom because I accidentally moved that little circle. All right, so now up here, if we move these 2 pieces, so the Santa and the outline, let me zoom up or scooch up. So you see here, see that line that comes up? We want that to be top aligned. So again, we're going to unlock the aspect ratio, just pull this up to where it overlaps that outline of Santa. And when we combine everything, we're going to be great. And now I'm just going to horizontally center everything to make sure I didn't move something accidentally. All right, go ahead and everything on the blue layer, we can indicate it is engraving. I'm going to group it together just so that we can combine other things. I'm going to lock it and turn it off so that we can work with this. Again, this is a great time for a save. I'm going to select everything for the Santa and select Unite and Merge. Let's do that again with the tree. I'm just indicating cut and making it red because that's what keeps it straight in my mind. So I grab the tree, the rectangle, and the circle, go up to the Unite menu and hit Combine. Again, make sure it's on cut. I change it to red just to keep my head straight, and then I turn back on and ungroup these engravings because we're not done yet. So now we only have 4 pieces total, not 4 for each. And those are ready to go. We just input our settings. All right, so this right here, if you're cutting, always minimize usage. So even though you have your design, you wouldn't cut it that way because you'd have a whole bunch of space in the middle. I just made 2 for our low ball glasses as well, the same way. So how we prepare for cuts is basically twofold. One, we're going to create an original file canvas so that we don't mess it up. Second is a working, and the third is our testing and or notes. Now, I do this because I want to copy from my original and never adjust my original, no matter what I'm building out. So if somebody orders just Santas, I don't have to go back to my original file at all. I can just use the working file. In the notes, I just use material, etc., put all that in there. And if I'm cutting a whole bunch of these and engraving a whole bunch, I'm combining all of the engravings at once. I'm turning off the output for anything I don't want. Now, a higher profit design is not the engraving, it's actually the cutting. But we can use the same AiMake and the same techniques you've already learned here. So I'm going to go ahead and just focus on the Santa here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Now, right now we have just this outline. Doesn't look like a Santa. It looks like a messed up cotton ball. So we could go in here and go to edit and then zoom in. Sorry, use spacebar to drag your canvas over. And then look, we could go in here and start deleting stuff, right? Like, so let's say we would just want no eyes and no eyebrows or whatever. You can click on these, delete them, click on this one, delete them. However, you have to start thinking about a negative design, and that's not going to be it. And I'm going to tell you the easiest way to get a negative design that's going to work for you is not this way. So let me zoom out for a second. If I take this and the outline here, okay, and then I go to, I'm going to just make it engraving so you can see. If I go to subtract, you're going to have random pieces cut out. It doesn't matter what you do here. You're going to have a whole bunch of random pieces cut out. That's not what we want. We want just the hint of Santa so people know what it is. Again, we're maximizing our profit. So how we do that is we're going to create a rectangle. I'm going to make it engraving just so you can see it, change the color by right-clicking. And now this one, I want to put this design in front, so I'm just going to go here and say bring to front. Now I'm going to select both of them. I am going to hit subtract and overlap. And, excuse me, and release the compound path. Because when you do that, you're going to start seeing there's a whole lot of pieces in here. We need that one. We need the little pom-pom. And now we need the face of the nose and mustache, but there's going to be multiple pieces in here. So just zoom in, grab just the face or just the nose and mustache, and then look. We can cut all of that out, and that would give us the view of a Santa, right? Without any engraving time, because that's what slows us down. All right, so I'm just going to center these, and then once you have them centered, I'm going to group them together, select the outer edge, and then subtract. And now it will cut out, so we have this little Santa face, a hat brim, and the pom-pom. And this is all delete. You can just delete all that. You don't need it. We're going to do the same thing, sort of. It's easier on the tree because I'm just going to say, okay, well, I'm going to edit this. You don't have to release the path. You just have to go to edit, and I'm going to take away all these little dots except the star. Why? Because I don't need it. I have a Christmas tree shape already. Now I'm going to hit done, and then I'm going to subtract the star from the cut, and now that one's done. That is more of a profitable design, only because you can make it quicker and there's less cleanup. Okay, so again, if you wanted to cut it now, go ahead and save, then we'll enter our settings. But I went through and did a couple more designs. I needed a coquette bow for my daughter. So I just created a bow, added some elements here, reducing like these little elements right here. I used the vector tool, which looks like a pen over there, to make it. And then I just edited out those little bow edges. I forgot to copy and paste my stick design. And if you do that, it's no big deal. You can come into edit and edit out all the tree pieces. That's too much time. I don't do it like that. I just take a rectangle, put it all over what I don't want, select them both and hit subtract, and then I'm left with just my swizzle stick. Boop. Then I unlock it, increase the height of the top port, and we're good and golden. So now that one is a cut, ready to go as well. Right? And everything looks the same. So because you didn't alter it. Now I'm going to do a little bit of file cleanup here. I am going to also add a star before I do that, because you can see up in the canvas area, I'm still on working accidentally. So I'm just going to bring in a star right from XCS, but I'm going to alter it, because if we needed a better design This is how we get it. We go into the edit and we start messing with these transform controls. Well, I'm going to round off all of these edges because if I use a pastel or a white acrylic, I don't want the laser starting and stopping. It will make like little soot marks. So I'm going to round off all of these edges, and then I'm going to add on the same swizzle stick as before, and that one's all done. So I'm going to cut 4 of them. I'm going to engrave 2 of them, and then I'll let you see what all of these look like. But I'm not ready yet. I don't want to cut these little baby shorties, so I'm just changing their color and making sure they're all set to no output. Then I'm going to copy everything. So all this red here is going to be set to cut, and you can just highlight the red on the layer. See the layers panel up at the top. But if we highlight blue, look, we don't need all of these to go yet, right? All these. So I'm just going to change this to green, right-clicking. And that way, when I choose blue over here on the layers panel, it's just going to let me enter my settings for both of those. Okay, now because I did all of this, I'm going to go ahead and save, but I'm also going to copy all of this into my original because I was accidentally working and designing on my working file. So I'm just cutting it off of there and pasting it onto my original. Again, this is all set to no output, so it's no big deal. If we're ready to cut, now is when we put in all of our settings, turn on our machine. So I'm going to go ahead and connect via Wi-Fi to the xTool P2. I already have a piece of masked acrylic. This is the paper masking. Now, why is it masked? I'm going to tell you. If you are going to use the engraving settings that I'm going to use, when you get that dust and when all that detritus and kerf comes off, it could settle back onto your acrylic, fuzzying up your design. And we don't want that, girl. So I'm going to leave my masking on just for this. You can cut right through this masking. It's no big deal. So when I auto measured, I realized, ooh, I'm still in inches. Again, you can go into your software settings or hit Command K to get that back. I'm going to re-auto measure because I got 2.7 with my calipers and want to make sure that's accurate. And it is. I use the close-up camera instead of the overview to make sure I get as tight as I can over here to my existing cuts. I have a plan for that big area right to the left, so I'm not going to be putting my design there. Now, you can come in here and do user-defined settings or user-defined material, choose red acrylic or white acrylic or whatever you're working with. And you can use the default settings, which now appear over here. So for my engraving, you can see that it's 20 and 3 whatever. No, that's never going to work, but I'm going to show you a trick that somebody thanks me all the time for sharing with them. I'm going to choose whatever this is. It doesn't matter because it's going to be wrong. Don't worry. We can fix it. And let's say we want a little bit more power than 20, etc. On the cut, mine, I don't ever need 100 power on this thing. So I'm going to do 85-15 to get through just 3mm red acrylic and 1 pass. Now I'm going to go to process the thing. So you can see down here on the left, it's going to say 11 minutes. We're not going to do that. And you're going to see it's going to do engraving first and then cutting. So we're going to go ahead and hit start. It's going to send the file to the machine. We hit start on the machine and let it process the Santa. But look, I'm going to hit pause right here. I'm going to open the lid, clean off the hat. And now look, I can already tell I don't like it. And I knew that because I've already done my testing. But if you pull this back, I'm not moving the acrylic anyway. You can see that did not etch it as dark or as white as I wanted. So I'm going to hit cancel and then it'll say task canceled. You hit OK. And then you just go back into your blue layer and adjust. Okay. Now I'm doing my settings. And if you've already tested yours, put your settings in there. But when I said I was going to get a lot of dust from this acrylic to make it stand out a little bit more, I do mean that. The testing doesn't even go up to 32, but I'm going to do 32, speed 200, 1 pass, and 200 LPC. Am I starting over? No. I'm going to go right over where I initially etched because it's all still lined up. So I'm going to hit start, let the thing process again. Now watch. Boop. That's what I want. I know it looks funny, but trust me. It's gonna be okay. We're gonna let the machine finish processing. So you can see it's already engraved the tree down here and now it's cutting everything. When I look in here, you can see it looks like a dusty mess. Don't worry, we're gonna pop everything out And on the teeny tiny pieces at my settings, it's just held in there with the sticky from the masking. So you can see, you just push it, and then they'll fall out in your hand. Okay, but I'm doing this one-handed. So these little things, I did have to get a little pick and poke them through and then just pull them out. Throw them in the bed of the laser, because that's what I do. So I am going to wash this acrylic, not only because I am selling this stuff, but also because of the MSDS. So cast acrylic is what you should use for all of these food safe-ish items. It is polymethyl methacrylate. I am typing it in. You see it up there. Search it yourself. It is just PMMA poured into a mold, and it is cast into these sheets for us, right, in various thicknesses. You can search the MSDS or Material Safety Data Sheet for any vendor or manufacturer. So you can do Romark, you can do American, JP, it doesn't matter. All of these cast acrylics are PMMA or polymethyl methacrylate. And it does indicate how we should use it with our laser, which is ventilated, potentially with gloves, because over time you can be an irritant. So you always do want to wash that acrylic if you're selling something like this, or at least get all the dust off. And that is what it looks like when they're clean. That is it for me today. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it was helpful, and I hope you learned something. If you did, leave me a comment down below. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and have a great day.